In Nigeria, majority of cities are fast becoming homes to scores of individuals due to influx, rapid growing population, and rapid urbanization, among other factors. With this trend, there has been increase in the demand for houses across the country. With a population of approximately 197 million, coupled with high demand in housing units, both in quantity and quality, there is need to seriously address the issue of housing affordability and housing shortage in Nigeria. Welcome to Housing Development. As always, I am Flora Ani, your housing diva. The news headline is up next. I'll be back in a moment.
Once they started, they want everybody to come out. So I asked, okay, so they must. Let me send you the link. You can connect it.
As part of strategies to curb the menace of building collapse, the Lagos State Physical Planning Permit Authority has asked residents and real estate developers in the state to embrace voluntary compliance with physical planning permit laws. This was made in a statement signed by the Director, Public Affairs, LASPPPA, Mdin Ume Abimbola, on a motorized sensitization campaign aimed at encouraging voluntary compliance to fiscal planning permit laws. He, however, noted that voluntary compliance to laws guiding fiscal planning in the state will relieve the government as well as the residents of significant financial burden. Shelter a Freak, Pan-African Housing Development Financier, through its research and policy formulation arm, Center of Excellence, COE, has launched a housing affordability calculator which will help the company address issues of housing affordability to improve viability of affordable housing projects in Nigeria and other African countries. Mohammed Gambo, Shelter of Freak's head of policy, research and partnerships, noted the importance of the housing affordability calculator as vital for Shelter of Freak in evaluating housing project proposals submitted with respect to whether the units proposed are likely to be affordable to a low-income target market in that location. According to Mohammed, the viability of affordable housing projects depends upon accurate methods for gauging household or buyers' affordability and achieving unit costs that meet those affordability constraints. Association of Housing Corporations of Nigeria, AHCN, in a bid to facilitate affordable housing for medium and low-income earners, is poised towards hosting a two-day national workshop in Jos, with the theme of the workshop addressing housing deficits and the challenges of low-income earners in Nigeria. The objective of the workshop is to stimulate appropriate strategies for facilitating affordable housing for low and medium-income groups amid unfriendly climate in Nigeria's housing sector. The workshop will reposition housing agencies to be awakened to take advantage and maximize inherent opportunities in provision of mass housing for the people, especially the low-income group.
That is a news update. For more housing news, do well to visit www.africanhousingnews.com. Just as the rate of homelessness and higher cost of rent in some major cities are alarming, the existing supply of housing cannot match the increasing demand. The government drive towards housing for all, as contained in the National Housing Policy, which aims to provide affordable housing for all, has not been achieved so far. According to the stakeholders in this report, the state non-implementation of the housing policy is a major setback.
The housing sector of any country can boost or mar the economy depending on the manner government wants to run its policies. No matter how a government looks at housing, it remains a fundamental human right as enshrined in the United Nations Habitat Agenda and universally accepted as the second most important human need. In 1991, the National Housing Policy was enacted in order to propose possible solutions to housing problems in Nigeria. At inception, the basic goal of the policy was to provide affordable housing to accommodate Nigerian households in a livable environment. However, 29 years after the promulgation of the policy and 21 years after the target year, 2000, many Nigerians are still unable to own a house while several others are living in indecent houses. Speaking on this, Victor Onukwa, the president, Association of Housing Corporations of Nigeria, says the implementation of housing policies are crucial for the provision of affordable housing in the country.
In recent times, some of these policies the government have jettisoned. The government is not implementing them. We have not been walking the talk. So that's the problem we have with housing problem in Nigeria. We churn out policies, we churn out programs, but none of them is being implemented.
Speaking further, he highlights finance and land acquisition as major setback to housing development.
Property development is a business that thrives on land, on finance, and these are the major problems we have because the land use decree has made it cumbersome for the developers to get land.
The managing director of Dynamic Mayor Edge, Olumayowa Olurise, suggested the need to review the housing policy and also to review the Land Use Act to ensure better access to land and faster registration process of land title to developers.
One of the major policies that has affected, that is affecting the real estate environment is our Land Act policy. It's so rigid, if I can use that word, such that it's difficult to get a land. And knowing fully well that the housing deficit is so very, very large and wide, I think I will look into this policy and make a review. It will help the getting of land come easy. And when it comes easy, I think it also helps, but in turn, it helps people build more. Developers like us face these challenges of sales. What do I mean? You have to balance your sales to the land value. So when the land value is very, very high, of course, automatically affects the construction of the house and the sales of the house. So I think the government could look into the Land Act and make it easy to get or allocations.
According to architect Adewumi Okupe, he points that there is a disconnect between the policy and those that will implement the policy as a major challenge.
So I would say that the government should be advised that they should have real, genuine intentions, have real solid visions before they even come up with the policies, because the intention is what is going to drive the policy. If the real intention is not there, if it's just a political propaganda, of course, at the end of the day, once you get the applaud of the populace for bringing up the policy, you have achieved your aim.
The problems that are associated with the national housing policy include implementation, inadequate research and studies on the formulation and execution of the policy, inadequate funding, shortage of skilled manpower in the building industry, insufficient infrastructural amenities, as well as ineffective housing finance.
the housing shortfall in the country and develop more affordable housing for low-income Nigerians, the gap between policy formulation and policy implementation must be bridged by ensuring the complete implementation of all formulated policies and adequate collaboration among the stakeholders. You're still watching Housing Development. I'll be back shortly.
What is the name of my grandson?
Suleiman.
That's a good name. May the Almighty preserve him.
Amin.
Now that your family is growing, this is the time for you to start thinking of a house of your own.
Abba, the thought of this has always been on my mind. To build a house now, you need a lot of money, and that is what is holding me back.
Sonny, what you need is a mortgage. NHF mortgage loan. With NHF mortgage loan, you own a house upfront and pay gradually over a long period of time.
Abba, I will go to the FMBN office right away.
Come join us at FMBN and let's shelter Nigeria together.
Welcome back. You're watching Housing Development. The incessant cases of building collapse and unwarranted loss of lives and properties has become an embarrassment to not just the nation at large, but also to the built environment professionals as they seek for the passage of the National Building Code into law to help forestall the problem of building collapse. Take a listen.
The incessant cases of building collapse and unwarranted loss of lives and property has become an embarrassment to not just the nation at large, but also the built environment professionals. These experts have raised up the need to address this situation, appraising salient issues on the causes of building collapse.
For us, it's an embarrassment to us as professionals, being that once there's a building collapse, the next thing you hear the general public will ask who are the builders, and they are not mindful of the fact that in the industry or in the profession we have professionals, so but it's generalized as who are the builders.
There is huge threat in the construction industry and the need for the public to be enlightened on the qualities of properly constructed houses to enable only professionals into the system.
Some of these causes could have been, it's not a one-man factor, it could be a system of factors that could have led to building collapse. But prominently among this is the issue of quackery and lack of following stated standards and regulations.
While urging the National Assembly to pass the National Building Code into law in order to curb the incessant cases of building collapse across the country, the immediate past Vice Chairman of the Council of Registered Builders of Nigeria, Samson Opalua, says for the Building Code to have a national coverage and a force of law, it is necessary for a law to back it up.
Most of the professionals involved in the built environment have laws covering our own practitioners. Our laws are relevant only to us. So if a quack who is not a member of any of our profession embarks on it, there is no major law that you can use to discipline such a person. And you can agree with me that when lives are taken, for instance, the 20 children that died at Lagos, such lives, no country should allow it to go.
Also speaking, builder Adenike Said, chairperson, Association of Women Builders of Nigeria, tasked relevant stakeholders to rise up to the challenge and called on the National Assembly to expedite action with the passage of the National Building Code into law and enforcing it, as it remains a key gate to the production of safe buildings in Nigeria and the solution to this problem of building collapse.
The only way that one can come into reality is by coming together of all the professionals in the built environment, in which I believe that they are doing, create more awareness and ensure that they know the importance of this building code. The building code is a document that sets the minimum standard for construction works. So, and most of these standards, some of the states have started implementing them.
The incessant cases of building collapse has negatively impacted the sector, and other problems that had worsened building collapse include lack of collaboration by professionals, indiscriminate importation of substandard materials, and lack of adherence to the regulatory framework. There is, however, a need for government regulatory and control agencies to become more efficient and effective in enforcement of the policies, rules, and regulations that would further fortify all agencies involved in the housing sector.
What you think, what you wish, what you dream, we can give you home, your office, anywhere.
At Urban Shelter Limited, we are committed to your satisfaction in terms of good housing construction, infrastructure, flexible payment plans, and that's not all. We uphold affordability, reliability, quality, and innovation. Urban Shelter, distinctive homes, prestigious offices.
So glad you're still with me. Most residents of the Federal Capital Territory rely on scavengers or cart pushers, popularly known as Meibola or Babambola, to dispose their waste. Though garbage trucks collect waste in some areas, the vehicles are mostly found plying streets within the city center. Inhabitants of the suburb are therefore left with the option of patronizing scavengers who move from house to house at different hours of the day, collecting trash for a fee. With the ban of scavengers in some parts of the FCT, what are residents saying? What's their reaction on Voices on the Streets?
We're looking about banning of scavengers. There are two things. There's positive aspect of it and there's a negative aspect of it. Most of the time, these scavengers helps in clearing your environment. It helps to clear the dirt, just because what the content of the dirt, they want to have access to it and pick them for their own, for scraps and everything, which goes in for recycling. If you ban them and there are no place, you didn't create opportunity for recycling of these materials, then the dirt still litters there and place keep being dirty. And in another form, I would say a negative part of it is this: most of these scavengers uses that as a cover-up. Most of them to steal and everything, just use that to just sight the environment, to know, just get to know the environment and know what is happening around there. Then later they come to visit at night. So there are two ways. We should just find a way of curtailing this.
The Babambolas are the criminals we have in FCT. In the night they rob people. In the daytime, if you walk in a isolated place that are lonely, they rob you immediately. So, but these people, can they, be, degenerated and channeled into good society? Yes. How? When you provide a good quality skill for them, engage them. That is why the artisans are saying we regulate insecurity in Nigeria. How do we do that? By the time we build a workshop artisan village and have workshop where these people can be moved from the street to the workshop, trained, they acquire and empowered to start doing something. Are you getting it? They will be off from the street. The insecurity will not be there. The criminality will not be there. So, but government banning them is a welcome development.
This very question is interesting because I have a situation whereby I was taking clothes for laundry to take it to the laundry shop. So the guy was not in his place. So I left the company. I was making a call. So, you know, they picked my bag up, and I was like, "Hey, bros, drop this thing."
Are you serious?
Serious. My ID card, everything were inside, and I was like, "Why are you carrying my bag now?" He said he thought it's baller. So, but I know one or two things that come into existence. Somehow, they started somewhere, and then the idea is modernized, is coined, customizing, fitting into. So I know that it's going to be very difficult to have these people oriented on how to go about their business. These boys are emerged, or they are brought under an umbrella that they can have an organization that's looking after them, that they can be questioned, they can be regulated on how they go about this business. I think it will really help Nigeria.
I'm not against the banning. It's actually good banning them. But this is my point. Whenever you try to remove a policy, you should have a better one to replace. Because one of the things we are used to in Nigeria is whatever policy we don't like, we just ban without a replacement. So the cases become worse after the decisions have been made. Take for instance an environment where you ban Okada. You don't have a better tax solution to replace it, but you just ban Okada because you feel they have some certain disadvantage. So the scavengers have been banned. What are the modalities to put in place to solve what they have been solving?
It's not the right thing. Babambolas are the citizens, and they deserve to eat 3 square meals a day, whereby government did not make any provision for them. As in social, the priority of the country is the welfare, the social welfare of the citizens and the security. So if Babambola, they are citizens, they deserve to eat, and where government don't make available for them to eat, they start to struggle to eat. They are helping people. There are some big men that call them to pack dustbin in their place where environmental fair to perform their duties.
Binding them is the actual thing to be done because they are nuisance and they are easily compromising. They are kind of stealing every corner. I'm once a victim of them in my environment. Once you see them, these days we always chastise them because before you know they pick whatever they want to do with. Even enter your gate while they know that, because they will definitely monitor your environment to know that you are not around.
I think the activities of scavengers is illegal, and to me they are criminals. I have 4 victims of them. My gen, my pot were taken by those criminals. So to me, government should ban the activities. We have environmentals who clean up the society. So to me, they are criminals.
Voices on the street there, Abuja residents speaking of their experiences and ban of scavengers. You're still watching Housing Development. Cosgrove Smart City Estate is up next.
One of Nigeria's foremost leading real estate company is fast rising to be a game changer in the real estate sector and aimed at becoming Africa's leading smartest homes. Seated in approximately 800 square meters, Cosgrove Smart Estate, housing 22 units of 13 terraces and 9 detached units with 24-hour surveillance, has taken a cutout in Mabuchi axis of Abuja.
The houses here are fully automated, and then what makes Cosgrove different from other real estate developers is the technology they imbibe in the system. Cosgrove is here not just to be a developer, but also to bring out the perception of technology. And not only perception, we want to disrupt the real estate industry by coming up with smart building that is going to give us the comfortability and hospitality we deserve.
Architect and site supervisor Fatima Umar noted the explicitness of the buildings as they ensure comfortability, all forms of luxury, providing security at its peak with CCTVs, smart door locks to bring and promote technology through automated responsive building, having AI at your beck and call.
You should get a house in Cosgrove because we don't only offer the generic house. We offer much more than that. We take into consideration all the finishing. We do top-notch finishing, top-notch buildings, as well as, of course, the smart features in the house.
Housing is a fundamental right. Our citizens cannot enjoy all the rights without it. A household expenditure on housing is usually the one which takes the largest share of its budget. Lowering housing costs then means greater opportunities for households to spend more money on other goods and services, which contributes to the creation of new jobs. Affordable housing is a service of general interest, an important pillar for a social, sustainable, and inclusive society. With that, I wrap up today's episode of the program. Thanks for watching. I remain your housing diva, Flora Annie. See you soon.